Have you ever caught yourself talking out loud and only realized it after the words were already out? Where are my keys? I can't believe I did that. Come on, let's do this. And for a split second, a strange thought appears. Is this normal? We laugh it off, pretend it didn't happen. But let me ask you something uncomfortable. If talking to yourself is so strange, why does almost everyone do it? In the car, in the shower, before going to bed, replaying a conversation from 3 days ago? You've done it. I know you have. And maybe what unsettles you isn't the habit itself. Maybe it's realizing how often you're in conversation with yourself. Now, here's what's actually happening. When you speak out loud, your brain processes information differently than when you think silently. Thinking is internal. But when you speak and hear your own voice, you activate both language and auditory circuits at the same time. It's like giving structure to mental noise. When you say, I need to pay that bill, call my mom, finish that report, you're not just repeating tasks, you're organizing attention. You're turning scattered thoughts into a sequence. Your brain loves structure. And there's something deeper. The human brain evolved in dialogue. We developed language to communicate, negotiate, explain, regulate emotions. Conversation shaped our nervous system. So when you're alone and your mind is racing, your brain uses the tool it knows best, speech. Only now, you're both the speaker and the listener. And no, that's not psychosis. You know it's you. There's awareness. There's control. In fact, talking to yourself serves 3 powerful functions. First, focus. Your brain receives far more input than you can consciously manage. When you verbalize something, you reinforce the signal. You engage additional neural pathways. That's why reading out loud helps memory. That's why saying something aloud makes it clearer. You're guiding your own attention. Second, emotional regulation. Notice how you talk to yourself more when you're stressed? Calm down. It's gonna be okay. Breathe. When you put an emotion into words, you activate areas of the brain responsible for control and self-regulation, especially regions in the prefrontal cortex. At the same time, activity in areas linked to threat detection, like the amygdala, begins to decrease. In simple terms, naming what you feel reduces its intensity. Instead of being swallowed by anxiety, you step slightly outside it. You go from I am anxious to I am feeling anxiety. That small shift changes how your brain responds. Third, social wiring. We are deeply social creatures. The brain is wired for interaction. Long periods without conversation can create subtle tension. When you narrate your actions or respond to your own thoughts, you're keeping those social circuits active. It's not madness, it's adaptation. Now, there is an important distinction. Talking to yourself as a tool is healthy. Talking to yourself as an escape is different. If you use it to organize thoughts or process emotions, that's regulation. But if you create obsessive imaginary dialogues, if you avoid real conversations and live primarily in internal ones, that may signal loneliness, anxiety, or emotional avoidance. The behavior isn't the problem. The function behind it is. And here's something even more honest. Sometimes what unsettles you isn't that you're talking to yourself. It's what you hear yourself saying. When you speak out loud, you reveal what's really going on inside. The frustration, the self-doubt, the exhaustion, the pressure you're under. Talking to yourself is a mirror, and mirrors don't invent anything. They reflect. But reflection is not weakness. It's awareness. And awareness is the beginning of change. There's something quietly intelligent about this habit. When you say, let's go, even when you're tired, you're trying to mobilize yourself. When you say, calm down, you're attempting to regulate your nervous system. When you replay a conversation, you're trying to process meaning. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It's organizing experience in the only way it knows how. So maybe the real question isn't, is this normal? Maybe the real question is, what am I trying to process when I speak out loud? If it's focus, good. If it's emotion, good. If it's clarity, good.
But if it's silence that feels too heavy, maybe it's time for real dialogue. Because talking to yourself can be a powerful tool, but it should never become a permanent substitute for connection. And maybe maturity isn't about stopping the habit. Maybe it's about learning to listen to what your own voice is revealing. So let me ask you honestly, when you talk to yourself, are you organizing your mind or are you trying to fill a void? Write in the comments what resonated most with you. And if you enjoy understanding human behavior through the lens of neuroscience, without judgment, without exaggeration, subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't label you strange. We explain what your brain is doing. And yes, you can keep talking to yourself. Just don't forget to talk to the world, too.